Every single second, millions of dollars in digital transactions bypass global state surveillance, corporate tracking, and compulsory taxation systems entirely. This completely independent alternative economic zone embodies Agorism, an anarchist political philosophy seeking to replace state coercion with voluntary marketplace cooperation. Agorism achieves its goals through counter-economics, which includes all peaceful, voluntary human actions intentionally hidden from regulatory government overseers. Instead of engaging in political voting, party campaigns, or violent revolutionary conflicts, agorists actively starve the state by withdrawing their tax base. Historically confined to localized cash transactions, counter-economics underwent a massive global evolution with the birth of the encrypted Internet Darknet. This digital infrastructure relies heavily on crypto-anarchism, a movement deploying cryptographic software to guarantee absolute individual liberty and economic autonomy. Public key cryptography provides the primary digital defense, allowing total strangers to trade securely without revealing identities to predatory interceptors.
To obscure physical locations, darknet markets exploit onion routing protocols, where transactional data is wrapped in multiple layers of deep encryption. The Tor network bounces this traffic across global volunteer relay nodes, making it mathematically impractical to trace data packet origins. Early darknet iterations lacked an unforgeable digital currency, leaving commerce dangerously tied to state tracking through legacy banking payment infrastructure. The launch of Bitcoin solved the double spending problem without a central coordinator, introducing an immutable decentralized ledger that finally allowed peer-to-peer value transfers across international boundaries without intermediate authorities. Bitcoin proved pseudo-anonymous rather than completely private, because its transparent blockchain ledger allows state law enforcement agencies to deploy advanced transaction graph analysis to link real-world identities to wallet addresses.
To achieve total financial opacity, darknet actors adopted privacy coins like Monero, which use complex ring signatures, stealth addresses, and confidential transactions to hide the sender, recipient, and the amount sent. In 2011, an anonymous developer combined onion routing and cryptocurrency to launch the Silk Road, creating the first modern, highly successful online darknet marketplace that operated entirely outside sovereign regulatory systems. Operating under the pseudonym Trad Pirate Roberts, the founder explicitly stated that the marketplace was not merely an illegal enterprise, but a practical political trial designed to prove that state control over trade is obsolete. The underlying architecture mirrored mainstream commercial platforms, providing users with searchable catalogs, localized category filtering, secure account generation, and intuitive shopping carts, making forbidden counter-economic trade accessible to ordinary computer users globally.
To establish functional trust between entirely anonymous counter-economic participants, darknet marketplaces implemented automated escrow protocols that locked buyer cryptocurrency deposits until the physical package delivery was successfully completed. Dynamic feedback loops allowed buyers to rate vendors publicly, building a decentralized reputation framework that systematically penalized fraudulent actors and poor service quality through immediate commercial ostracism without relying on state courts. All critical communication required mandatory encryption using the Pretty Good Privacy Protocol, ensuring that sensitive shipping addresses were only readable by the specific vendor, leaving zero plain text logs on centralized market servers. The physical distribution layer of darknet markets paradoxically depends on national postal services, weaponizing state logistics networks to deliver counter-economic goods directly to residential doorsteps under the guise of ordinary correspondence.
Vendors developed sophisticated stealth packaging engineering, utilizing specialized moisture barriers, visual decoys, and double vacuum sealing techniques specifically designed to neutralize chemical scent detection and bypass automated international custom scanning machines. To completely bypass mail interception risks, localized darknet cells pioneered the dead drop system, concealing illicit items at precise physical locations and transmitting the exact geometric coordinates to buyers via highly secure channels. These localized physical delivery grids operate autonomously, utilizing independent couriers who receive cryptocurrency payments programmatically without ever knowing the identity of the suppliers or the final buyers they serve within the network. State enforcement agencies combat this agorist landscape, not by cracking core mathematical protocols, but by exploiting human errors, psychological weaknesses,
operational security blunders, and undercover sting operations targeting vulnerable distribution nodes.
The ultimate shutdown of the Silk Road occurred due to server configuration leaks, careless forum posts linking real identities, and targeted infiltration of the administrative staff rather than any vulnerability in Tor or Bitcoin. The destruction of early centralized platforms led to the rise of Hydra, a highly resilient, massive darknet conglomerate that dominated Eastern Europe by integrating advanced software automation with widespread real-world dead-drop networks. Early darknet iterations frequently suffered from centralized vulnerability because market operators controlled the primary escrow wallets. This architectural flaw created massive incentives for administrators to execute sudden exit scams, vanishing overnight with user assets. Modern Agorist marketplaces utilize advanced multi-signature transactions, which require 2 out of 3 independent digital cryptographic keys to release escrow funds. This protocol effectively prevents platform administrators from suddenly closing operations, executing exit scams, and stealing millions in user cryptocurrency deposits. To eliminate single points of failure, developers are rapidly shifting marketplace architecture away from centralized servers toward peer-to-peer software frameworks. These networks distribute marketplace code across thousands of individual user computers simultaneously, rendering government seizures impossible. Next-generation platforms integrate the Interplanetary File System to host static market content across a globally distributed hash table. Because data is content-addressed rather than location-addressed, state authorities cannot shut down access by seizing a single domain or server stack. State agencies counter with complex traffic correlation attacks, tracking latency variations across the network to de-anonymize server locations. They also deploy automated blockchain tracking algorithms and host long-term honeypots disguised as reliable community marketplaces to collect user metadata over time.
Despite aggressive law enforcement operations, coordinated global takedowns, and internal platform betrayals, the macroeconomic volume of darknet trade continues to expand annually. This growth demonstrates the intense, unyielding human demand for unregulated, private economic interactions across the planet. The darknet ecosystem exhibits a textbook Hydra effect, where the elimination of one dominant marketplace immediately creates a vacuum. Within days, existing vendors and buyers migrate seamlessly to multiple waiting competitor platforms, making total systemic eradication functionally impossible for state regulators. While mainstream corporate media coverage focuses exclusively on illicit narcotics, darknet counter-economic markets host vital alternative trades. These include banned political literature, censorship circumvention software, anonymous whistleblowing infrastructure, and life-saving medical supplies restricted by protectionist state regulations or authoritarian trade bans.
For individuals trapped inside hyperinflationary monetary systems or oppressive totalitarian regimes, these decentralized darknet protocols provide an essential economic lifeline. They offer direct access to stable global currencies, untaxed purchasing power, and voluntary trade networks that keep families alive. By completely bypassing arbitrary state licensing schemes, expensive regulatory compliance costs, and artificial border tariffs, darknet market systems inherently optimize global economic efficiency. They offer a living laboratory proving that pure consumer and vendor self-interest can establish perfect market equilibrium without bureaucratic oversight. This struggle represents a permanent technological arms race between centralized enforcement monopolies and decentralized mathematical protocols. While states possess immense physical power and financial resources, the cryptographic math protecting Agorist trade requires zero physical infrastructure to remain completely secure.
Crypto-anarchists emphasize that mathematical laws are universal constants that no human legislature can repeal, modify, or regulate out of existence. Strong encryption acts as an absolute physical barrier, shifting the balance of power from the collector to the individual creator. Advancements in programmable execution introduce autonomous smart contracts that handle escrow, resolution, and logistics natively on privacy-preserving decentralized virtual machines. This removes human middlemen entirely, making the marketplace execution completely trustless and blind to external interference. As physical cash is systematically phased out globally in favor of traceable central bank digital currencies, darknet-style encryption models become mandatory survival protocols. Preserving basic financial privacy and individual liberty will depend entirely on mastering decentralized counter-economic networks.
The long-term survival and continuous adaptation of Darknet commerce provides definitive empirical proof that human societies can organize highly complex global supply chains. They accomplish this without relying on state coercion, legal validation, or centralized violence to enforce agreements or manage trust. Ultimately, Darknet marketplaces demonstrate that the voluntary exchange of value is an irrepressible force of human nature. When individuals are empowered by unbreakable mathematics, they will always find a way to trade freely, bypassing every wall the state builds.